Welcome to the Simply Shed Talk show, where we come to you live from the shed industry. And really quickly, if you want to ask a question, say hello, mention your product, whatever, you can click the link in the description, whether you're watching on YouTube on the Simply Shed Talk on YouTube, on Facebook on the Shed Sales Summit, and we're also sharing to all the other platforms out there. Click that link, join the conversation, or you can comment on anywhere, wherever you're watching. If you just comment, we'll see your comment live and we will answer your questions right here on the show. We have a special guest today, but before we get into that, of course, if you're new here, my name is Andrew Boyle. I'm the host here at the Simply Shed Talk Live with our co-host,
Peter Miller, and glad to be back. I know I'm not always on here, and so thank you, Andrew, for carrying the torch whenever I'm away or sick or doing something else. And really excited about our guest today that's going to be joining us. And I don't know if you want to introduce him or if you want to bring him on here. Um, our guest is Gary Reichert, and he is the owner of Shieldwall Media. Also, he is putting on the Post Frame Builder Show in York, Pennsylvania, and we're excited to be there this coming week. And so, if you are not sure if you're going to go, you might want to get your tickets now because time is running out. It is going to be June the 10th and 11th in York, Pennsylvania.
yes, absolutely. We're going to add Gary here in just a second, but I was talking to Peter. We are getting our bags packed, getting ready to go up there to the show. And I thought, what greater time than to ask Gary if he would join us and kind of tell us a little bit about the show. Without further ado, let's add Gary here to the stage. Gary, good morning.
Hi, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well,
Hey,
thanks for
thank you.
coming on.
Yeah. Hey, really quick shout out to your magazine. I was actually in one of Peter's shed lots, and
Okay.
I seen the magazine on the desk, and this was like I think 3 weeks ago, and it
Okay.
said the Post Frame Builder Show, and I was like, I immediately called our team at Simple Shed Marketing. I was like, hey guys, there's a show coming up, and I forgot all about it. So literally, it was your magazine is the reason why we're going. And then I thought to Peter, let's get Gary on here because maybe there's other people that have forgot about it or kind of
Sure.
slipped their mind. And there's still time to go. I don't know if there's still time to sign up or not, but sort of as vendor. But you can definitely come as a guest and tell us a little bit about the show this year.
Well, there's actually no time to sign up as a vendor because we're sold
Uh,
out.
oh wow!
So
Congratulations.
good problem to have. But we've got no
Yeah.
open booths. We
Wow.
actually, well, Missy actually, the person that does my shows, actually found a way to add 10 by 20 2 days ago, but we had to actually basically go into the utility closet to fit it. So
Wow.
so far so good. It's looking like a really good show. It is the post frame builder show, so it's primarily oriented toward post frame, but we do incorporate all the other different niches that our magazines play in because we primarily promote the shows through our magazines because we've got altogether 7 different magazines. So there's if you do agricultural construction, if you do sheds or portable buildings, if you do CFS metal buildings, there's going to be something there for you.
Well, I'm excited about it because I've never been to the Post Frame Builder Show. I know that there's going to be some bleed over from the shed industry because we're focused more primarily in the sheds,
Sure.
but it is going to be interesting to kind of do that because we just always like to network, always like to meet new people, always be able to better ourselves any way possible that we can.
Well, and there's significant overlap too between the different parts of it because there's one of the things that we do is besides the magazines is we do data generation, that we do surveys, that we try to issue a market report that's basically a market sentiment report and some data going into the different niches that we serve. And all you need to do to get that, if you're interested in it, is subscribe to one of our magazines. Our magazines are free to subscribe to people in the industry. And we mail roughly a 110-page book that goes over the basic metrics for the different segments that we cover to all of our subscribers free of charge. So
Well,
if you want to learn more and not have to go buy a $3,000 industry report. It's not going to be a complete comprehensive report on your segment, but it's better than nothing. But the point of that was that roughly 60% of the people that report their primary business as being post-frame construction also report that they do sheds and or temporary or portable buildings. There's going to be a little bit of confusion in the way that the question was worded, because if you ever put up a 80 by 120 pole barn in the Midwest, they're going to call it a shed. So there's a little bit of wiggle room there, but if you've got the material to build post-frame building, you also have the material to build sheds and smaller structures. So there is a certain amount of overlap, and it just makes sense to have a drop if somebody doesn't want to pay $150,000 for a pole barn.
You can do.
You still need a place to put your stuff. So
right. So go ahead, Andrew. There.
And so, Gary, how long have you been doing this? I know you've done some other shows, and I think you have other shows, but how long have you been doing this particular one? And tell us about maybe some of your other ones as well.
Okay, this will be the third year for the Post Frame Builder Show. And the other show that we've got currently is the Construction Roll Forming Show. I acquired the company in 2019 and going right into the COVID shutdown, which was an adventure.
Nice.
But we added the Construction Roll Forming Show then. So that's our longest going show. That's aimed at people that do roll forming and metal forming. So it's really more of a manufacturer, dealer, distributor show as opposed to a builder contractor show. Just trying to think what else. That's the difference between the two. One of the things that we try to do is we try to make sure that we can actually differentiate our shows, because our magazines are all within about an arm length of each other. And it doesn't make sense for us to do new magazines or new shows that tap the exact same audience. So right now, the two shows that we've got are overlap somewhat, but are far enough apart that in a sentence, I can tell you what the difference is. And just as a general rule of sales, if somebody can't explain their value proposition or what their product is in about a sentence, you probably shouldn't be dealing with them because they don't know what they're doing. Just shows, our shows are in general are a little bit different than most people's shows. One of the things that we do is we keep our shows smaller. The elevator pitch for our shows is we cater to the people that sign the front of the check, not the back of the check. So it's a show for exhibitors and people that want to do business with the exhibitors primarily. So, for example, differentiating. The National Frame Building Association does a wonderful show. They do that's in February, March every year. But since it's a trade association, they serve two masters. They have to deal with the guy swinging the hammer as well as the guys that own the business. And they have to deal with that kind of safety and other things like that. The exhibitors are the primary revenue driving force for any show. Attendance is minimal. I mean, we actually donate our attendance fees to charity every year. So it's something where it's not enough that it's going to affect the bottom line, and it gives us a chance to do something well. But the shows that exist usually treat the exhibitors and the people that are actually going there to do business as second-class citizens, because they're more interested in the number of boots on the ground rather than having qualified people to do business with the distributors or the exhibitors. So that means the exhibitors get an opportunity to actually do business, and somebody that is looking at buying a product from an exhibitor will have enough time to spend with them that they can actually have a conversation when if you're like, for example, if you make roll formers, typical roll former low end is going to start you out, give or take $120,000 to $150,000. If you get somebody that builds 2 dog houses out of the back of his pickup truck every year, and that's his business, he's not buying a roll former.
Right.
He is going to be talking to the roll former, and 3 legitimate prospects that you would have liked to have talked to are going to walk by because you're busy while you're talking to the guy that's not a prospect.
Mm.
So we try to have a little bit more of a qualified audience. So if you're looking at going there because you are in the market to look for vendors for fasteners, for doors, for windows, for roll formers, for metal panels, for all kinds of stuff. Business services like you guys,
Mhm.
you'll actually have an opportunity to have valuable conversations with the people, as opposed to stand in line. Here's my card. I hope you follow up next week.
And it goes that digs a little deep into the sales side, because when we deal in shed sales and we talk to sales professionals that are on the ground, that's what we hear so much is they're so quick to hand out a business card. And I remember early in my career, I swore that every single person I gave a card to and they promised me they were going to be back, they were going to be back. Learned that really quickly that wasn't the case. And being able to find a qualified person that you're talking to, it's like if you could guarantee that everybody walked through your door that was looking for a shed was going to buy that day, I think there would be a lot of very happy people that own shed businesses. But it does take some time, and it sounds interesting the way that you're doing it there to qualify the person walking through the aisles looking at that. It's not just a tire kicker. It's more of a qualified person looking to buy on a larger scale, if I'm understanding what you're saying there.
Well, or not necessarily, or at least willing to buy, because
Mhm.
there's a lot of subtle things that go into it. Like, for example, this show is in June every year, or give or take. I think last year it was July 1st, but whatever. And the roll forming show, the construction roll forming show, is in September. And whenever we were originally doing the shows, one of the things that I try to do is I try to talk to the people we do business with, the exhibitors, the attendees, and get feedback on it. Because ultimately, if it's not going to meet what you guys want it to do, you're not going to be there. And the only way that I know what you guys want it to do is if I ask.
Mm.
And we got a lot of initial pushback on running it in June and running it in September, because people, oh, that's building season. Our crews are all out in the field. We're not going to have time to get away from the office and blah, 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 blah. And the conversation that followed up from that is, your crews can't get out of the field. Can you? Because when the target audience isn't the crews, when the target audience is the guy that's actually signing the checks, yeah, if there's a reason to, you can get out of the office for 2 days and it doesn't cost your company any money.
Mm.
You can't pull 5 crews out of the field, or 1 crew out of the field, because that would. But if you've got a reason, you can probably get out of your own office for 2 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I that makes a total amount of sense. I mean, it's the audience that you're going after. You don't, not saying that you want to have a crew come in and look through it. That's not what you're saying at
Yeah.
all. But you're
Yep.
looking for the person who's the decision maker in the business, who's going to be buying the new roll former or buying the new fasteners that we're going to try to use for this particular application and so on.
Yep. We absolutely love the guys that swing the hammers.
Mhm.
And we do things that try to help that. Like, for example, one of the issues is everybody has problems getting people in the construction trades. We launched a line of children's books called Max Builds, that we've got Max Builds a Metal Roof and Max Builds a Pole Barn that are out. And we're actually working on Max Builds a Barndominium that we give away. We give them away to schools. We give them away to people in the industry. We give them to trade associations. So far, this initiative launched October 1st. We launched it at last year's construction roll forming show. So far, we've given away about 8,000 books. And
Wow.
it's to get kids, whenever you're 5 years old and you're reading a book, it's, I want to be or used to be, I want to be an astronaut. Now kids probably don't even know what an astronaut is. But I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a football player. I want to be a ballerina. I want to be a whatever. And we've got roughly 100,000 subscriptions that go out to people that are putting on metal roofs, that are putting up pole barns, that are driving nails, that are framing in windows. And dad or grandpa wants to be able to read to their kids and show them what they do.
Mm.
And then the hope is that gives the kids positive and emotional commitment toward the industry so that they've got some kind of a connection, so that whenever they reach the age where, like, we work with Mike Rose Foundation and profile the people that they give scholarships to. And we've worked with Team Rubicon that tries to get vets into the construction industry. But by the time somebody's 18 years old, if they haven't already developed a positive emotional connection to construction, they're not going to look at it as a viable career. So we're starting to do stuff to try to get kids interested in it, so that whenever it comes time for them to decide what they're going to do later, maybe they want to be the guy driving the nails so that they can provide for their family and give their family a nice life.
Right. And I guess I look at that kind of from my own personal experience. The first job I had out of high school was high-rise construction. We were doing framing, metal framing, drywall, and stucco.
Sure.
And that was boots on the ground there. Learning that. Was it hard work? Absolutely. Was it fun work? Times were. There was times. Once I almost fell off about 13 stories up, but other than that, it was a good starting job to be able to kind of get grounded on that. And one of the things that I remember hearing was friends that I would hear would go off to college to get a degree to do XYZ. They'd come back to Podunkville, wherever we were, the small town that we lived in, or right there where they lived. They were overqualified. Nobody would hire them because, oh, you have 4 years or 8 years and this. But I could go out and I could get a job anywhere I wanted because I never went to college. Not saying that college is bad. It's just, what are you using it for? I think sometimes these, trades, you can make a better living doing that than spending all that money into college. And so I like that idea with the books, being able to, push that towards, kids looking at maybe, hey, the solution is always get out of high school and go to college. Maybe it's learn a trade and become a professional at it.
Yeah, well, if you listen to a lot of this is going to make me sound old, but if you listen to a lot of the young people, everybody says, "Oh, we're never going to be able to afford a house. I've got $500,000 in student loans. I've got this, I've got that." And a young man that I know just graduated from high school, and he's going through a program in HVAC, and he's probably going to be making six figures by the time he's 25 years old, and he's not going to have college debt. And it's like, I live in small town Wisconsin. You can definitely afford a house in small town Wisconsin on $100,000 a year. So, maybe some of the problems are because the way we look at things, not because they're really problems. We just don't like the answer to solve them.
Right. Well, I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying college is I'm not going to be Charlie Kirk here and say college is a scam, and maybe that's controversial there, but there is parts of it where it can be seem like it's not the best idea.
Well, I've got a master's degree, so I mean, if college is a scam, I bought into it and I paid somebody.
But you've been able to use that degree, I'm sure, for what you've done in your career and what you're,
but not what I'm doing now. My master's was actually in exercise physiology. I was in the commercial strength training industry up until I was probably 40 years old.
Okay.
And then somehow I ended up here.
It's definitely unique how that works. There's a guy that goes around I see him on Instagram mostly, and he interviews millionaires and billionaires.
Yeah. Yep.
Really, really interesting to hear the stories that he does, and little short videos and things like where people came from, how many times they've lost everything and then build it back, and been broke and so on and so forth. It's really cool to see the entrepreneurial spirit that can be used here in America, and what we can do with what we have.
Well, and this is a great industry for that, because probably a third of the people that we deal with for our magazines are people that started out driving nails someplace, came up with a product that solved their problem, and then realized that other people had the same problem that they had.
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah.
Gary, how long you been doing the magazine? Is that you said when you're strength training till you're 40? Did you get into the magazine? Is that how you got into this industry, or is there something else you started with in the industry? Tell us a
well,
little about how that got started.
I was going through a divorce, and in order for me to stay in the industry that I was, I would have had to move from Wisconsin probably to Texas. And if that would have happened, I wouldn't have been around my kid. So it's okay. It's time to start looking for another job. And I was a sales guy. I'm a decent sales guy. And kind of like you were saying with the trades, if you're a decent sales guy, you can go anywhere and get a job. And if you can't, you're not the sales guy you think you are. But I ended up selling advertising for a magazine.
Okay.
And I started selling ads for hunting and fishing magazine that went defunct. And then I ended up getting transferred over to construction magazines. And then after starting out in ad sales, somehow after about 20 years, I ended up owning the blasted thing.
So the
So
construction magazine that you started selling the ads in is the one that you eventually own.
yes,
That's
Nice.
really neat.
yeah.
That
Well, it was it was an advantage because the parent company, F&W Media, was going through a Chapter 11, and basically the problem is the short version is they brought in all kinds of slick people from New York to run things that thought that they knew how things worked. Well, the magazines that the company owned were hunting and fishing magazines. They owned construction magazines. They owned specialty interest magazines like quilting and antiques and things that were based on small communities. And it does you wouldn't think it would take a rocket scientist to look at it and figure out that the same things that work for magazines with a 500,000 subscribers are going to be the same things that work for a magazine with 15, 20, 30,000 subscribers.
Mhm.
They're different, and they didn't realize that, and they started dumping buckets of money into the wrong stuff, so they ended up going bankrupt. And
Hmm.
fortunately, whenever it came time for the auction, I was and publisher, assistant publisher, whatever, and knew enough of the back end stuff about the magazines that I knew that I could make money on them. So
Hmm.
bought them out of a bankruptcy, and we've actually probably tripled in size in the 7 years that I've actually owned them.
Well, that's a really a testament to the hard work and dedication you put into that. I mean,
Yeah,
you saw
probably
the
blind luck. Probably blind luck more than anything else.
uh, well, I guess my question would be, I know we've kind of jumped off here a little bit and been really interesting, but if somebody is listening to this right now or watching this later today and they're like, well, I know where York is, or it's, how far away it is, and we're flying into Harrisburg, which is about
Yep.
40 minutes away. I believe Lancaster is about an hour and a half away from there, roughly.
Yeah. And Baltimore's about the same.
Okay. But if you're fairly close, what do they need to do to be able to come there? Do they go on the website and
Well,
register?
you can. The website, if you go to postframebuildershow.com, that'll put you to a page on Frame Building News on Frame Building News website that you can actually buy tickets. You can show up the day of the show and buy tickets. Exhibitors at the show also have an unlimited number of guest passes. So if you are going and and you do business with one of our exhibitors and you contact that vendor, all they need to do is give us your name and contact information, and you can get in for free. If you do decide to go, the fee to get in is $50, and that includes all the educational programming, the show floor, everything. There's no nickel and diming things. We also have a really good social that we do on Wednesday starting at 4:30, I think it is this year. But we'll have entertainment, we'll have food, we'll have beverages, all kinds of stuff, and that's free. So that's something that, I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be really hard to eat more than $50 worth of food at it. So
Mm.
that's something
And
to consider too.
And it sounds like you had said with those tickets, you give that back to charity as well. So you're giving
Yes,
to a
we do.
charitable organization at that
Yep.
same time. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, typically what we try to do is whenever we donate to charities, we look for smaller charities that will actually make a difference. Because like last year, we gave away about $30,000 to charities,
Mm.
and if we give that to Red Cross or United Way or somebody like that, it doesn't make a difference. Um, for example, we had there was a small not last year but the year before, there was a small town in Iowa that during rains their dam washed out. So we
Mm.
ended up donating money to their local chamber of commerce to help them rebuild the parks and rebuild other stuff like that.
Mm.
So, but yeah,
Nice.
every penny that we get from attendance at the shows, we donate.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Nice.
Well,
So, Gary, question for you.
Yeah.
Monday night or Tuesday night, I know you have the social on Wednesday night, but Monday night, Tuesday night, if you come in, I know we're coming in. I've never been to York that I know of. I've been to Lancaster and some other places, but what is there? Is there anything fun to do in the area? Good restaurants? Anything you would suggest around the convention center there?
Gosh, well, seeing as I already said that used to be in the commercial strength training industry, the weightlifting Hall of Fame is actually in York, Pennsylvania. So
Okay.
if you want to see old historical things about strongman lifting stuff and Olympic lifting and powerlifting and that kind of thing, you can go to the weightlifting Hall of Fame. And no, that's not why we decided to do the show there. Uh, the Gosh, there's a lot of things like Gettysburg isn't really too far away. If you wanted to go in and you wanted to see the battlefields. And this is going off of memory because I actually grew up in Reading, so that's not that far away. That's kind of the same general area. Uh,
Okay.
there's if it's actually over in Lancaster County, but Miller's Smorgasbord is kind of famous as one of the best buffet all you can eat places in the country, and that's
okay.
probably
So,
worth a trip.
Gary, real quick, sorry to interrupt you. Peter Miller over there on that over there. We were in Lancaster, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, and
Okay.
we went by Miller's, and I was like, we gotta eat there. Um, and I think the wait was like 30 minutes or something,
Yep.
and we didn't do it. We did not
Ish.
do it. Some of us wanted to go back to the hotel. So we didn't get to eat. So now it's the best in the world, Peter. Come on. But sorry to interrupt you,
Well,
Gary.
we'll just
Well,
have
you
to
ought to
do
be able
that
to
this
get a
time.
family discount there, right?
That's right. I'm gonna
I
let my
know.
beard grow out a little bit better here. I'll look a little bit better here.
Walk in and see if you can skip the line because of your last name.
Okay.
You don't want me telling my uncle about this, do you? You better get me a table.
Uh, well, that morphs a little bit into this, and I know we want to talk about York, Pennsylvania, but we also have the Shed Sale Summit that we put on for the salespeople, and it just is interesting. Have you ever heard of Don't Tell the Bishop?
Yes. Yep.
So he is going to be at the Shed Sale Summit this year, and so we're excited to have him as part of that.
Cool.
And so I don't want to skip the line and tell their uncle and tell the bishop about the food, but
Well,
we're
just
excited about that.
don't invite him so that he can't rat you out.
Right. I'm sure he would have a crowd around him for sure.
Yep. Cool.
But,
So, enlighten me. Where is the Shed Sale Summit?
Shed Sale
And
Summit
when?
so the Shed Sale Summit is going to be in Knoxville, Tennessee, September 22nd. It's in the Makers Exchange, which is just there where the Tennessean and the Marriott hotels are. There's
Okay.
an event venue. We have Steve Robinson, who is the former chief marketing officer for Chick-fil-A, is going to be our keynote
Oh, cool.
speaker. We're also going to be having Owen Fitzpatrick, who's a psychologist and going into the psychology of sales and so on. We're putting together a really great panel, and we also, of course, are going to have Don't Tell the Bishop there.
Cool.
So
Cool.
September 22nd, 2 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. in Knoxville, Tennessee, and would love to see you there, Gary, if you can make it.
Okay, we'll see. We've got our roll forming show the week before that, so
Okay.
my travel schedule gets like insane. So,
I can
but
imagine.
Knoxville's a good place though. I mean, we did a roll forming show there like 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
So no,
Well,
good place. And we're actually this year's roll forming show is in Gatlinburg, so not too far away from there.
okay. And that what
So
what dates is that?
God, it's either that same week or the week before.
I got
yeah,
you.
I think it's the week before, Gary.
Yeah,
'Cause I know I looked it up,
I'm pretty sure it
and
is too, but if I quote dates, guaranteed I'm wrong.
yeah,
So I like giving myself as much wiggle room as physically possible.
yeah. So when I seen that, I told Peter when I seen your magazine about this show, I was like, dude, there's another show, and I was like, I'm not really a roll former guy, but I like Gatlinburg.
Well,
So
the deal with the roll forming show is you don't need to be. It doesn't. It's not. Okay, I'm trying to. The reason behind the roll forming show, I was at somebody else's show one time, and I was talking to a gentleman that was the national sales manager for a major fastening manufacturer, and he was expressing, gosh, unhappiness about the show, about having to be there, essentially. And I said, well, and his explanation was that if the people that come through were builders and contractors, and they couldn't buy directly from the manufacturer because they didn't buy in large enough quantities. Like somebody that is a manufacturer isn't going to be able to sell somebody a 20-pound box of screws. So everybody that he was talking to, he was referring to other people. And my response was, well, if you can't sell to anybody, why are you here? And the bottom line was that we're here because if we're not, the other fastener manufacturers are going to say bad things about us. And to
Mm,
me, that didn't make any sense. And the rationale behind the roll forming show was the people that are looking at metal forming are going to be big enough that they can buy, whether it's fasteners, closure strips, underlayment, whatever, in pallet load, container load, or truckload lots. So it's metal forming, but and roll forming, but it's really a dealer distributor show.
okay.
okay, well,
And it makes sense on the roll forming versus the dealer distributor show,
Yeah.
because then it makes sense now.
absolutely. Hey, Gary, I really appreciate you getting on here. And folks, I put it on the screen here, postframebuildershow.com. Go on there, find the information, get some tickets. We'd love to see you guys there. We will be there for that show. And thank you again, Gary, not only for coming on the show, but just thank you for all your effort into the industry, the shed industry, the post frame industry, and all the industries that you're in. I know it's not easy doing those magazines and coming up with all the content and distributing them, but it's people like yourself that bring the industry together, bring the community, bring the kind of sharing of the knowledge of your stats and stuff that you share. And it's just great to have someone like yourself that contributes to the industry.
Well, thank you. And it contributes to me too. I mean, it's one thing that you figure out whenever you get old is that you give what you get.
Mm,
So if we didn't give things back, nobody would care about us. So
mhm.
all good.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it very much, sir, and we will see you in just about a week or so.
That sounds good. We'll see you in New York.
All
All
right.
right,
Thank you.
all right.
All right.
Thank you,
Have a good
Gary.
week. Bye.
Bye.
So don't forget our next show, the Simply Shed Talk Live, will probably be coming live from the Post Frame Builder Show in York, Pennsylvania. If you're there, we'll be there. Come by and see us at Simple Shed Marketing, booth number something. We'll have to get back to you on that. Peter looks like he's lost.
Yeah,
We
I'm
don't.
not
I
sure
don't
the
know.
booth number.
But
That's
anyways,
the,
we will be there. If anybody, I know, in the evening or anything, anybody want to hang out or anything, message us, email us. We'd love to get together and connect. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Don't forget, Follow the Shed Sales Summit page, the Simply Shed Talk YouTube group. Turn the notifications on. You'll get notified when we go live, so you can come on, join the conversation, ask your questions. Thank you guys so much.
Have a great day.